Hi guys, my name is Roland Costilla, and for the ones that already do not know me, I spent my last 8 years working for Microsoft, IBM, Genpact, and Cognizant, developing security and privacy programs integrated for the top enterprises in the world. This is my Privacy by Design master course, which in my opinion is an extremely important topic. In this first lesson, we will understand why that's my opinion and why I do think privacy by design is something all of you should learn first. So, protecting privacy information has vital, for sure, and obvious implications for our day-by-day life, and the only way companies can successfully do this is to create what I call a culture of privacy. So, hacked enterprise data leads to identity theft and fraud. For example, 2017 saw an endless string of breaches, and topping the list was Equifax, which may have left 145 million American consumers vulnerable to identity theft. Other companies and institutions, including Securities and Exchange Commissions, also Deloitte, one of the big fours, experienced breaches as well. Despite the constant headlines and more sophisticated technologies that all these companies invested in, an identity fraud study these days from Javelin Strategy and Research revealed that 15.4 million US consumers had around $16 billion stolen from them, which was a lot more than previous years. So ultimately, the problem is people and not just cyber criminals. According to the annual Verizon data breach investigation reports, 81% of hacking-related breaches succeeded through sort of stolen or weak passwords or through simple attacks like phishing. That, yeah, sure, in the end relates to a stolen password or a stolen account, and they practically use those accounts to perform different activities. And on top of that, another leading cause was the unpatched software, was related to unpatched software. And this is practically something related more to the IT and to the administrators that were failing to maintain security and privacy best practices. The only solution, the only way to change people's behavior is to embed privacy in the very beginning of the organization when they create products, processes, services, etc. That's why privacy by design, a decades-old application design and development strategy, is now being discussed as a foundational strategy for the entire organization. The original goal of privacy by design was developing best practices that ensured application developers were building privacy into their products from the ground up. So even if concern for customer or employee privacy wasn't the highest priority, there was always profit. It is very expensive to re-engineer privacy into a product following a failure practically. So today, these practices are more important than ever. Increasing amounts of data have created what I call an ever-expanding attack surface, and complex new regulation demand a foundational approach to privacy. In fact, the Article 25 of GDPR is titled Data Protection by Design and by Default. So organizations face an ever-growing number of attack vectors related to privacy, including the new Internet of Things or IoT, government and business data over collection, and unread mobile app permissions, such as simple like allowing a scanner app to keep data and sell data that they scan. So finally, the use of new technologies is evolving so fast that it creates significant legal complexity. So who is at fault when an accident that involves a self-driving car occurs? Who can access data that was collected by a fitness tracker, for example, or a medical device implant? So while we may not be able to untangle all the legal and regulatory questions yet, we can do a better job of protecting the data. So the European use of the term data protection often confuses non-European audiences. On its face, data protection means simply protecting data. Unfortunately, the roads diverge a bit at this point. So the ones with a background in cybersecurity or with the eyes on the headlines of data breaches invariably gravitate toward data security. In other words, taking data protection to mean the protection of what we call CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. That means it's information security related. The challenge practically here is that they often limit threat actors to hackers, cyber criminals, or, malicious employees, let's say. Maybe if they have heard about Edward Snowden, for example, they might consider governments a threat as well. But data protection is different, especially in the eyes of GDPR, CCPA, or other privacy regulation in the world, is more about protecting people's data from misuse by companies, not securing it against external threats. So this course is not only about GDPR, though it can certainly be used as a process for data protection by design and default, Article 25 of the regulation. Most probably, you are already enrolled in my bestseller course, Build European Union GDPR from Scratch, which goes for GDPR into quite a lot of details and perspectives. This course is not meant to comply with any specific regulation, though use of the correct privacy by design process and procedures and methodologies herein in the course will practically help organizations comply with multiple regulations, not only GDPR or CCPA. This course is about how to build better processes, products, and services that consider individuals' privacy interests as a design requirement. It is practically about how to build things that people can trust. There are 4 sections I have created. Section number 2 provides introductory remarks, including an introduction to Anne Cavoukian's 7 foundational principles of privacy by design, a short history of regulatory adoption and past challenges that privacy by design practitioners have faced during time. Given its 10-year history in the privacy professionals community, many people may already be familiar with Cavoukian's principles. I don't know. There may be a lot of people which these are new. So this section also contains something most privacy professionals outside academia may not be aware of. So here I discuss what I feel is the impetus for companies and why they should build privacy into their processes, products, and services and not rely on individuals' self-help to protect their own privacy. For those not familiar with Solov taxonomy of privacy or the Hopeman strategies, and I think most probably the majority of you, Section 3 is a must. The 2 frameworks form the basis for identifying and mitigating privacy risks in the privacy model developed in that section. Section 4 describes how to analyze the privacy model built in Section 3. In the analysis section, a risk model is built using the factor analysis of information risk, or FAIR, how I call it, with a focus on individual risk over organizational risks, and also tweaks a bit in terms of definitions for privacy beyond information security. Designers may never need to determine a privacy risk explicitly, but also understanding the factors that influence privacy risk provides a deeper understanding of why the process is built the way it is. And the last section, Section 5, details the design procedure while using the other sections as a reference. So practically, section number 5 is the exact methodologies. In all the sections, and yeah, the last three, section 3, 4, and 5, you will have exercises to do. So check out the last lesson of each of the sections for the file of exercises. Also, I built an app by myself as an exercise to show you how to practically treat privacy when you think about building an application or a product or a service. And right now, let's see in the next lesson what's the learning path and how this course fits in the CIPT and CIPM program. And I think if you will follow all the courses in my learning plan, you can certify for any certification, CIPT, CIPM, or CIPPE for Europe in less than 30 days, even for all three of those. So check the learning plan, take a look at the details of the courses, and enroll and go for the certification. The good thing is that I'm not only following the guideline of a specific certification, because I think the idea is to learn something. The idea is to make it operational and to implement it easier in your organization. So that's why I structure it in all these courses and with all these topics like learning the DPO role, implementing case studies, and privacy by design. And I think if you follow the order, it will be better segmented also in your mind and also in your approach in the organization. But following it, it will get you to all these pre-certifications, and you can do it based on your previous experience. You can do it in less than 30 days. That's my promise to you.